Tonight on News 5 Live, the decomposing remains of Imari Gavez are found near the Hummingbird Highway. The sugar woes in the north. We hear from the Minister of Agriculture and BSI on the effects of a new regulation. Residents of Laguna meet with the media over brewing land dispute in the Toledo district. And in tonight's 5-point breakdown, a detailed explanation of regional migration. These stories and more coming up on News 5 Live.
Smart introduces Real Unlimited Postpaid Plans, providing customers with unlimited talk, unlimited text, and unlimited data. Now that's a real great deal. With Smart Plus, Share 1 and 2, and Enterprise 1 and 2 plans, you can talk as much as you want, text as much as you want, and for the first time ever in Belize, you can enjoy unlimited data with your postpaid plan. So come in and sign up for an unlimited postpaid plan and enjoy limitless possibilities. In addition, other plans such as the Flex Junior, Choice, and Select have been boosted with a lot more talk, text, and data, providing you with the best value for your budget. Be unlimited with Smart. It's time to power your dollar with Smart.
Welcome to Design Depot, home of GE Appliances.
Welcome.
GE Appliances are designed, manufactured, and tested for real life with long-lasting performance, which makes it a trusted brand amongst builders and homeowners. Design Depot has a wide range of GE appliances such as washers, dryers, refrigerators, ranges, microwaves, and much more. Manage your daily chores more efficiently with GE Appliances. Good things for life. Available at Design Depot. All in one place.
LG dual inverter compressor cools air faster by operating at speeds as high as 120 Hz with more stability compared to conventional models. It also saves up to 70% more energy by operating at speeds as low as 10 Hz with more stability. It reduces torque vibration down to 40% for quiet outdoor unit operation. Stable operation with low vibrations also results in increased durability.
Here's your chance. The stage is waiting. We're looking for talented Belizean singers for another season of KTV The Remix. KTV auditions will take place on Saturday, June 3rd and Sunday, June 11th, starting at 9:30 a.m. to 3:30 p.m. at Channel 5 on Coney Drive in Belize City. We're also now accepting online submissions. 2-minute videos can be emailed to producer at channel5belize.com or DM KTV Remix on Facebook. Deadline, Sunday, June 11th at 5 p.m. Come be a part of the biggest singing competition of the year. KTV The Remix, only on Channel 5.
This newscast is brought to you by the Belize Bank Limited. Our country, your bank.
Good evening and welcome to News 5 Live for Wednesday, May 17th. I am Sabrina Daly. A family's worst nightmare was confirmed on Tuesday evening when the decomposing body of 19-year-old Belmopan resident Imari Gavez was found. Her body was in some bushes near mile 40 on the Hummingbird Highway. She was partially nude. Injuries to her left breast and right leg were observed. Investigators believe she was shot in the head. But who would want her dead and why? Tonight, the Gaves family in Belmopan is retracing her steps in search of answers. Hipólito Novello reports.
Tonight, the mother of 19-year-old Mari Garves is in tears.
In 2 weeks, her birthday was coming up. And she told me, Mom, I want a party for my birthday.
Instead of a birthday party for Galvez, Johanna Caceres and her family are now planning her funeral. The decomposing body of the Belmopan resident was found at around 6 o'clock on Tuesday evening. She was partially nude with injuries to her left breast and right leg. Investigators say they observed what appeared to be a gunshot wound to the head. Galvez was last seen here at her house in the Salvapan area of Belmopan at around midnight on Saturday. It was when she received a phone call an hour later that she left her house and never returned.
I saw sadness in her face, like she may want to say something, like she may want. I see her face like if she made a cry, but honestly, I never asked her nothing. So she got back in her room, and I know that Mari stay in her room at least till 1 o'clock in the morning because I moved from my steps 12:30 night. Me and my husband went in the room. So we got sleep, me and he got sleep. So I never had nothing, like nothing, and I didn't hear anything. So somebody come for my daughter between 1, and that have to be somebody way close to she, because she would have never go with somebody where she don't know. And I know my daughter very well. No matter where she there or where he go, she will always communicate with me. Wherever she go, she will send me what text. If she there with this friend, she will send me what picture of which friend she was. And that night, she didn't.
And it was then that the Galvez family became worried and suspicious. They tried calling her phone several times, but there was no answer. Galvez had disappeared. Her family realized that the worst had happened when they saw her phone charger in her room.
The first thing where she would have cared with, when she going somewhere and she know that she not come back in a little while, he going for a little while, he would carry her phone charger. Her phone charger was in her room. Everything was in her room.
In fact, she walked, I see she walked with the charger. Because you know why phone go dead, right? So then age there, in fact, the first thing you do when you reach somewhere, you ask for the Wi-Fi because you want to stay online. So I made it tell my lady, I say, this is not right because for 3 days, she not gone online. Something wrong. I said, I got a bad feeling about it.
Said Enriquez and other family members organized a search party. That search led them to some bushes off the Hummingbird Highway. Enriquez says he smelled death.
First stop we did was by the bridge, right? And I even hit some little trails. We go far to see if, signs of something. Only blows or something. Nothing. When I come back out, now they made wait for me, right? So I remember a taxi man reach there. Well, we drive to see to why I know for years. I tell the man, he asked me, where do I want to do? I said, boy, well, to be honest, tell her where to look for, a family member where we think I'm missing, or I honestly tell her, I'm thinking the worst right now, bro. I tell her, but you think they have any road where you could actually drive? I tell her where you could go far through the whole there. Because, people who want to do bad, they rather drive. They want to drag somebody miles. So he started telling me, well, to be honest, the man said, why you not go to the road where they find the last body the last time? In fact, he even say that I'm a famous spot for dump bodies. And we just continue walking up the hill, and probably less than a quarter mile, a smell hit we check.
And that was the first sign of confirmation. A few feet deeper in the woods, they found Galvez's body.
It's really sad, really sad. I can say maybe the persons that did this were they're heartless. No, they don't have kids, they don't have a daughter. The way she died, no one deserves to die like that. It's really sad. Sad, very sad. Maybe right now we don't have the words how to express how we feel. And it hurt. It really hurt all of us.
Tonight, the family is asking questions and demanding justice.
I know that somebody were close to she, somebody were call she, that the person who did this to my daughter. She never deserved that. Whosoever do it, God knows the best. God knows the best because Imari was my best friend. We share everything together. Every single thing she got through, I used to know. I used to know most of her friends. So I know that this person, whosoever do it, that my friend were close to she.
Reporting for News 5, Hipólito Novello.
The murder trial of 32-year-old David Gonzalez, accused of the shooting death of his wife in San Pedro in October 2020, continued today in the courtroom of Justice Ricardo O'Neill Sancroft. On Tuesday evening, the Crown's primary witness took the stand and provided the court with critical evidence of what transpired that fateful night on the island town. That testimony went on until after 6 p.m. when he concluded his sworn statement from the dock. The witness is a businessman from Sand Hill Village who testified that on the morning of October 12, 2020, at around 2:40 a.m., he was asleep when he was awoken by a phone call on his wife's cell phone. According to the witness, upon answering the call, he heard someone on the other end and subsequently recognized Gonzalez's voice. From the dock, the witness proceeded to state that Gonzalez asked if he can be trusted before confessing that he was going to call the police as he had just shot his wife. At that point in the testimony, attorney Oscar Salgado raised an objection on behalf of the defendant. Salgado's objection was that the witness should not have repeated what he was told over the phone by Gonzalez. That objection was overruled by Justice Sancroft. This morning, Dr. Daniel Gonzalez took the stand and testified to receiving the items belonging to his son that were turned over to him by the police. Testimony was also provided by Guzman's sister-in-law. The matter continues before the High Court. The infamous Elmer Nah returned to the Belmopan Magistrates Court this morning. He stands accused of murdering Vivian, John, and David Ramnareis on the night of New Year's Eve 2022. Unlike his previous court appearance, there wasn't a visible presence of heavily armed police officers. We are told that Nah's appearance today was procedural as the case progresses. He was unrepresented. As he exited the courtroom, Nah was confronted by a relative of the Ramnareises, Anita Young, who demanded justice.
Mr. Nah, you have anything to say? Do you have anything to say? Do you have anything to say, Mr. Nah?
Justice for the Ramnareis family! 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 Justice for the Ramnareis family!
Why are you out here, Miss Young?
Because I want to see justice for my family.
What went through your mind when you saw Elmer Nah walking just now?
Hatred.
Do you expect that this case will proceed fast or will it take long?
Well, I really can't answer that question.
Do you have faith in the justice system?
A little.
Coming up, we hear from the Minister of Agriculture and BSI on the effects of a new sugar regulation. Find out the details of these stories when we come back.
Adopting a second child was our best decision ever. Now our daughter Alexis has a little brother to play with.
Now that we have our son, our family is complete.
Contact the Department of Human Services and find out how you can become a foster or adoptive parent and be that heart of gold.
Investment Services Explained. In September 1999, SSB's Mortgage and Investment Unit was created. The unit later became the Investment Department in 2005 and officially Investment Services in October 2007. So, what is the Investment Services role? How does Investment Services help to support Social Security and you? And why is Investment Services important to Belize? Investment Services' function is to make prudent investments in the form of commercial loans, shares, and real estate development. The interest income generated from these investments ensures the fund is sustainable to pay current and future Social Security benefits to its insured persons. The investment income is used to support the working population and pay pensions such as retirement and invalidity. Additionally, investment loans support economic development through commercial loans to startup and existing businesses while aiding in increased production of goods and services. We can expect investment services to continuously impact the lives of every insured person through Social Security pensions. Investment services will continue to support the Belizean economy through secure investments in various industries. And that is why investment services exists. Social Security Board, an investment for you, your family, your future.
Come on!
When hungry or craving, when laughter or tears, enjoy the best snacking or flavors are here. Asadas, mocadas, chiladas, doradas, Belizean for snacking, done right and done here.
Done right, done here.
It seems like every other day, we hear of a family member or friend being diagnosed with a serious illness such as cancer, heart attack, kidney failure, or stroke. When these illnesses strike, you want to focus on recovery and your overall well-being. At RFNG Life Insurance, we offer critical illness insurance to help with medical expenses when diagnosed with such critical illnesses, providing security to access quality healthcare facilities and to ease the worry about finances. In case you are diagnosed with a life-threatening illness that is covered by the policy, critical illness insurance pays you a lump sum amount to help you obtain access to quality treatment and medication. Having critical illness insurance provides the financial support that will bring you and your family the security and peace of mind necessary to manage these illnesses. The possibility of being diagnosed can be worrying, but by having a critical illness plan, you could have funds to assist with expenses such as medications, hospital deductibles, childcare, household expenses, and so much more. The right time to plan for the unexpected is when you're healthy. For more information, visit our office today to speak with one of our experienced agents about critical illness insurance. Your health and wellness is what matters most. Take care of it.
Tour guides, your renewal season is coming up. Please be advised that all tour guide license expires on July 31st, 2023. BTB will start accepting applications for renewal starting May 1st, 2023. Tour guides, we're asking you to apply early in order to have a new and valid license before the current one expires. To submit via email, you'll need a clear scan of each document in PDF format and properly named and labeled. Send your application with all supporting documents to tourguide@belizetourismboard.org and include your full name and your tour guide license number in the subject line of the email. Remember to fill out your applications correctly, as BTB will no longer be accepting incomplete applications. Contact our licensing officers at 227-2420 and press 1 if you have any questions or concerns.
On May 6, 2018, I suffered a hemorrhagic stroke, which is bleeding on the brain. When it happened, I went straight into a coma straight away. I flew out via air ambulance to Galenia Hospital, A week or two after waking up out the coma, I started doing therapy. They had me do therapy straight away. And I'm grateful for that because that is what made me start moving and walking again. And I got back to being normal. When I went back, I did a new CT scan. And the CT scan results showed no blood, no clot, no fluid on the brain. So I didn't require the surgery again. But I had 24-hour nurse service by my side to make sure that everything is okay with me. After I came back to Belize, they still reached out to me, asking me if everything is fine and how I'm doing, and making sure that if I have any issues, I can always go back, and I just keep contact with them. And I'm very grateful to all the doctors and nurses at Galenia for their hard work and dedication. They're the ones that have me here today.
The Ministry of Agriculture and ASR-BSI are at odds once again. This time it is over what Agriculture Minister Jose Mai says are existing regulations that are now being operationalized. As we reported on Tuesday, the government has proposed the sugar industry license to import and export regulations for 2023. This gives the Sugar Industry Control Board, SICB, the power to impose licensing requirements on individuals involved in the import and export of sugar in Belize. Leading sugar producer ASR-BSI, while not currently obligated to obtain a license for exporting sugar from Belize, has strongly criticized the proposed legislation. The company referred to the regulations as, quote, retrograde, unnecessary, burdensome, and discriminatory, end quote. BSI has taken the initiative to voice its concerns by reaching out to the Ministry of Agriculture as well as the government of Belize to express its reservations about the potential impact of these regulations. Minister Mai says that ASR-BSI knew about the regulations that are part of the Sugar Industry Act.
Let us not beat around the bush. What we are seeking is disclosure. You will recall that the cane farmers, specifically the BSCFA, had requested to BSI before to kindly inform them as to how much sugar was sold to fair trade. Under the flow sort regulations, the manual, it said that BSI ought to have reported to BSCFA, I think twice per year, how much sugar is being sold as fair trade sugar. BSI responded saying, I don't need to give you that information, although in the flow sort manual it's saying so. But we couldn't force them. We could not force them to tell the BSCFA how much fair trade sugar was sold. He's saying to you, okay, you want your license? Just tell us what are the premiums and benefits due to each certified producer. So it's asking for disclosure. And that is the reason, in my view, why BSI is opposing this. Because it's simply asking for you to disclose who you sell the sugar to and at what prices and who are the beneficiaries, which they were not able to tell the BSCFA farmers.
BSI says that the regulation is, quote, retrograde, unnecessary, burdensome, and discriminatory. What do you make of that?
Everybody who sells sugar has to abide by this regulation. It's not discriminatory. It's crucial. And there are other people who export sugar.
But it's specifically targeted to ASR-BSI, as you mentioned.
In the case that they have not paid premiums to the farmers, yes. But if you pay the premium to the farmer, everybody has to meet the same conditions.
But then would it be fair to say that this regulation that's going to be introduced in the House, I think Friday, was prompted with the situation with ASR-BSI and BSCFA in terms of that fair trade sugar?
You can say that.
So would then be correct to say that ASR-BSI is saying this is discriminatory? You're targeting them.
No. Whoever is not doing things the right way will be affected. If it is Santander, they'll be affected. All this is asking is to disclose what you're doing.
This afternoon, BSI's Director of Finance, Sean Chavarria, said that the company's interpretation of the changes made by Statutory Instrument 62 of 2023 is GOB trying to probe into the private commercial affairs of the company. It compels BSI to collect and disperse fair trade premium, is a process that is currently being carried out by Tate and Lyle Sugar. Chavarria says that the legislation is pointed and discriminatory.
We see the legislation as being completely unnecessary. It's disproportionate. In our view, the title of the legislation does not, tell the story behind it. It's not really about controlling export. No business rationale for controlling exports. Sugar, if you see the monthly reports coming from the Statistical Institute of Belize, continues to be one of the best performing exports. So it's more to do into getting to the private commercial affairs of BSI. And in particular, I think this was signaled already that the government wants to find a way to get the fair trade funds paid to the BSCFA. And in a sense, this is an attempt to do that, to force BSI to collect and receive fair trade premiums, because that is a specific clause in the legislation. And we have tried to point out that it's not going to work, because at the end of the day, BSI is not the party that pays the premium. It is the buyer of the sugar who markets and sells fair trade sugar ultimately in these markets that pays the premium. And so the legislation cannot compel a third-party organization to do something that is not part of their business practice. So this attempt really will not achieve, we believe, that objective, and we've tried very hard to explain that, but it seems it's not going anywhere. So we definitely object to this legislation. It's very disproportionate. We don't see it for any other export business or a business in general in Belize. And so we think it's in a sense very targeted and discriminatory.
Responding to ASR BSI's concerns today was Agriculture Minister Jose Mai. During our sit-down with Minister Mai in Belmopan, we asked him if there is a conflict of interest or the appearance of a conflict of interest, since he is also a farmer and a member of the Belize Sugarcane Farmers Association. Here is how he responded.
If you are paying the farmer the premiums he deserves, it should be no problem. None at all. None at all. But you will have a problem if you are not paying the farmer what they deserve.
You are a farmer?
I am.
Registered BSCFA?
Yes, sir.
Would then there be any conflict of interest or appearance of conflict of interest in this case? Because you as the minister would be the one to grant that license.
No, that has changed. The minister empowers the SICB. It's not the minister.
Yeah, but then that's
the way they wanted it, you know.
Yeah, but then under your directive.
That's the way they wanted it. The law.
Because if you say let's not give them the license, then whoever you empower will not give them the license.
And there's a process for that. If you are aggrieved by the law, there is a board that you can go and take your complaints to. Right? An appeal board, I think it is. You go on, and you will get your license once you provide that information.
Currently, 90% of sugar produced at the mills is exported, and only 10% is consumed locally. It's an attempt to force BSI to pay BSCFA for fair trade premium. The miller will now face a series of red tape, including having to apply annually for a license and then applying for permits for every export. This is being applied only to sugar and not other agricultural exports. Finance Director Sean Chavarria says it is anti-business.
It definitely adds significantly a burden. It's anti-business. As I said earlier, you would expect that, sugar being one of the largest agricultural exports and a key income earner for the country, you would want to make the process of exporting sugar easier, not more burdensome. And in fact, that the opposite is happening. We don't see this for bananas. We don't see this for livestock. We don't see it for, I understand only citrus fruit is you need to apply for an export permit, but certainly not a license to do so. And so in our view, it's really seems to be one that is targeted, and it doesn't send a right signal from an investment standpoint. Under the Supplies Control Act, there is a handful of products that requires the company to apply for an export permit. Those products are, sugar is one of them. You have certain fisheries product, certain hardwood, I understand some beans, and I believe citrus fruit. It's limited to those products. And as we have tried to point out, in our view, even that is not necessary because there is no food security issue with sugar. There is enough sugar in the country of Belize. Only 10% of what we produce is consumed locally. And therefore, there doesn't need to be any restrictions or the need to have to apply for export permits. But they have said that that needs to continue. We need to provide contracts now to satisfy the need to get those permits. And then in addition to that, we have to be licensed to be an exporter of sugar, which is a new requirement. And there are all these stipulations that are now in place for us to be approved. And even there are some clauses in there in the legislation where any fault can be found with us that would give the minister power to remove the license and put us in a situation where we're not able to export our product. Even beyond that, the level of ministerial overreach, if the minister was not a member of the BSCFA, we would still take issue with it because the mere fact that you have to go to the minister and apply for a license, and there are all these conditions that you have to meet in order to obtain a license, it just seems very unnecessary, and it seems like a massive overreach. And so even if the minister was not a member of the BSCFA, we would still have a major issue with it.
Millions of dollars in investments have been made by American sugar refinery Belize Sugar Industries over the years, including $20 million in upgrades at the mill. But what's the next move for the millers? Will they mount a legal challenge of the SI or pack up and leave? Finance Director Sean Chavarria says that BSI has been getting legal advice on the steps going forward.
I think at this time, that's what we're weighing in terms of whether we challenge the legislation. We have received legal advice on it, and we're considering that. And given the extent in which we believe this interferes with, our commercial business and the confidentiality of it, that's something that we're seriously taking on board, whether to proceed with challenging this legislation. And we did indicate to the ministry that that would be something we would consider as well. And so at the moment, that's certainly a live matter. Even before ESR, BSI has been in business for decades, for over 50 years. We've always been, our mainstay has always been exports. We've always abided by the laws of Belize. And this is not the only regulation that exists for us. We're a factory, so we have to apply for factory licenses. The Department of Environment, we have to apply for discharge licenses. Recently, they asked, the SICB compelled us to apply for a manufacturer's license. And now we see this new legislation for us to be licensed to be an exporter. So for us, it seems that there's a standard for BSI and not the same one for other companies. And so I think the response would be, why is it that BSI is so regulated, whereas other businesses have less of this bureaucracy and red tape for doing business?
Minister Mai says it would not surprise him if ASR BSI decides to challenge the regulations in court. He also says that if the company does not like the laws of the country, it can leave.
If you are not happy with the country's regulations, either you adapt or you choose to go somewhere else. But they knew that this law was here before they came to Belize. As a matter of fact, this law also protects them. You cannot come to a country, operate and not want to operate under the laws. If all laws are hampering you, then go back to your country and see if you can be a producer and a miller.
Doesn't that send the wrong message, though, to foreign investors?
Absolutely not.
Is the government going to war with ASRBSI, which is, mentioned, a multinational, multi-billion-dollar international company?
We hope not. We don't want to fight them. We simply want to be fair. Fair to BSI, fair to the cane farmers.
But you throw the first punch with the regulation.
Well, it's simply operationalizing what's in the Act. There's nothing new. This has been in the Act for 2001 and they knew it. All we're doing is operationalizing. If you work fair, you have nothing to fear.
The citrus industry remains in dire straits and is teetering on the brink of failure, despite all attempts by the government of Belize to bail it out of financial collapse. The unpleasant state of the industry is nothing new. However, the situation has only gotten worse. This morning, News 5 also spoke with the Minister of Agriculture regarding the circumstances surrounding the industry. Its prognosis, Mai says, remains grim.
The industry is in a very bad position. Yep. We tried to resuscitate. We had $15 million at DFC, but the farmers did not take it up. They did not take it up because, from what we understand, is that the price of the box of citrus went down, or they were offered less, and the farmers believe that at that price it's unsustainable. So if they go borrow the money, they would not be able to pay it back. And so citrus is in a very bad position. The largest producer, I think, right now, is also bulldozing down his citrus plants. CPBL, there's another plant now operating, but we have very few acres. The disease has just devastated, and the price paid to the farmers did not help. It did not incentivize. We were hoping that that would have increased a little because the price on the world market went high, was a little higher then, but it did not go in that direction. And so the farmers decided that, we cannot take any loans at the price that they're paying us. And so it's not in a very good position. This began actually 2008 when the new government took over. There was a fight in the industry. That fight went on and went on. There was a disease. Disease hit us. It hit Costa Rica too. It hit all of Central America. But these countries managed well. The government put policies in place. They created the environment, and they rebounded. In this case here, it went unattended from 2008 until 2020. And so when we received it, it was in bad shape. And there were some, after we managed to get some money to pump into the industry, but then the prices went down, and so it's difficult.
After the break, the woes of regional migration under the Treaty of Chaguaramas. But first, here's the weather update with data from the Belize Met Service.
When the rain stopped, Brian left school wondering who he should talk to first. Suddenly, he heard someone calling him.
Brian! Hey, Brian! Hi, man. How are you doing? Did you come by canoe down the river to school?
What's up, Marta? Yes, I had to. How about you? How did you get to town?
I came with my dad to do some errands, and I saw you there at school. But since you were alone, I pretended I didn't see you.
There were no classes, but just because I was asking nonsense, they even gave me an extra assignment.
And what do you have to do?
Well, I have to talk to townspeople and ask them how climate change has affected them.
What's that climate change stuff?
Well, I don't know exactly what it is, but the teacher told me that's why it rains more than before and it's hotter. He also said it's because of that the reefs are dying and my dad can't catch any fish. Supposedly, when I speak to people, I will understand better what it is.
Well, if you want, I'll go with you. I still have nothing to do.
Brian and Marta began their town tour, wondering who they should interview first. Then they saw Mr. Oscar, who was delivering vegetables to a store.
Mr. Oscar, how's it going?
What's going on, Brian? How are you doing?
Fine, thanks. Listen, I wanted to see if I can talk to you. I want to ask if you have seen changes in the weather and if that has affected your vegetable sales.
Well, the situation has been difficult. Between rains and droughts, it's very difficult to grow crops and produce enough to make a profit.
Would you say this is because of climate change?
Well, I don't know what climate change is, but I can tell you that in all my years, I've seen that there has been a change. A few months ago, I planted some vegetables, and nothing grew because there was no rain. The heat has caused crops to become scarce, and now, due to heavy rains, I had to do an emergency harvest because much of the vegetables rotted. Some time ago, one knew exactly what to sow when the rains began, but now it doesn't rain for months, then it rains for a week, and it stops raining for another long time. In short, we are messed up.
Brian and Marta said goodbye to Mr. Oscar. Both were concerned, realizing that climate change did not only affect fishing, it also affected agriculture and that it would surely impact other people in town. They kept on walking for some time, thinking who else they should talk to.
Whether you're in a bustling urban area or a tranquil rural community, connectivity matters. Internet access is key to continued socioeconomic development. That is why Digi, our national telecom, has and will continue to invest millions of dollars to expand its mobile and fiber networks throughout Belize. Thousands of mobile users and households, especially along the highways and in rural communities, are now enjoying the benefits of Digi's resilient infrastructure. Our national telecom will continue to lead the charge towards digital transformation by utilizing cutting-edge technology and maintaining an unwavering dedication to excellence. With our DigiWallet solution, Belizeans in urban and rural areas now have easy and safe access to a wide array of financial services via their mobile devices. And with the recent launch of DigiTV, Digi has made history, becoming the only quad play service provider in Belize. Now, customers can save with our DigiOne bundles that offer home internet, mobile, home phone, and DigiTV services all in one place. Digi is committed to providing all communities with access to high-quality, reliable, and affordable services while unlocking untapped potential and opening the doors to a brighter future for all. Be a part of the transformation and experience connectivity like never before. Because with Digi, connectivity matters.
Migration is the movement of people from one country, place, or locality to another. Fossil evidence suggests that modern humans began to spread across the planet from Africa 60,000 years ago. Since then, humans inhabit all corners of the earth, on every continent. Currently, there is at least 3% of the world's population, representing 258 million people who live outside of their country of origin. Migration, when voluntarily or forced, has shaped the world as we know it today. But what are the reasons why people move? The answers are many. Some migrate in search of economic opportunities and employment, others to live with family members who have gone ahead to some foreign land or to study. Others move to avoid conflict, persecution, terrorism, or human rights violations. Still, others move because of the adverse effects of climate change, natural disasters, or environmental factors that they have found hard to cope with in their country of birth. In this week's edition of our 5-point breakdown, we'll look at regional migration and how the Treaty of Chaguaramas has facilitated the free movement of people within the Caribbean community, CARICOM, for legitimate reasons, and how others have exploited the treaty for ulterior motives. Here's News 5's Marian Ali.
Finding specialized training in a particular field of study can sometimes be challenging in one's home country. Likewise, finding employment upon certification in that field of work can be equally problematic. In 1973, 4 countries within the Caribbean, namely Barbados, Guyana, Jamaica, and Trinidad and Tobago, came together to sign into existence the Treaty of Chaguaramas, named after Chaguaramas in Tobago. The treaty established the Caribbean Community and Common Market, CARICOM, later revised to include a Single Market and Economy, CSME. It provides for, among other things, economic integration, coordination of foreign policies, and cooperation on a number of areas, including labor and industrial relations among those states. Belize, like other CARICOM countries, signed on thereafter. Our combined understanding allows for the free movement of our people, and each CARICOM country is obliged to assist CARICOM nationals in their pursuit to relocate within the region.
Under the Treaty of Chaguaramas, we are all committed to the free movement of CARICOM nationals, and that would allow nationals from any member state to move with a right of entry, the right to establishment, i.e. the right to set up shop to do his or her trading in the community.
Milson Lotte and Wilner Celeron are Haitian cab drivers who took advantage of the Treaty of Chaguaramas and have made Belize their home for over a decade. You've been a national for how long?
Oh, a long time by Esquivel.
Prime Minister.
Prime Minister.
Okay, we're talking 1984, something like that.
Yeah, a long time.
I don't think Haiti will see you again.
I don't.
To visit?
I don't know. Maybe.
To visit?
Yeah, I say because the Belize a long time. I love Belize. I have a family in Belize.
I have 15 years in Belize, but I stay at Belize because I love it. That's why I stay.
What brought you here?
Well, my friend is bringing me here already, but the demand, a lot of people want to live over there.
Yeah.
Try and get to another place for living because over there get the West. So they have to try to move themselves or save and protect their life.
5 employees of the Harborview branch were slapped with several fraud charges.
Many would remember Kalila Enriquez as a media personality in Belize. Now married, she has also legitimately benefited under the provisions of the treaty. She migrated over a decade ago to Jamaica, where she now owns her own media company. Kalila admits that back then the process was a bit arduous.
CSME definitely facilitated me being able to live and work in Jamaica more easily. So I was able to use my CSME skills certificate to legally gain employment here. But it wasn't as simple as it seemed. They had said that if you have a CSME skill certificate from any country, you can work in any Caribbean country or any CSME member state, CARICOM member state, without having to go through the process. But when I got to Jamaica, I had to apply all over again.
Under the revised Treaty of Chaguaramas in 1989, disallowing CARICOM nationals like Kalila, Milson, and Wilner from migrating to member states without adequate reason can get a CARICOM country in trouble. Such was the case in 2012 when Shanique Myrie, a Jamaican national, filed a lawsuit against Barbados. Myrie alleged that the treatment she was subjected to by border officials upon arrival and subsequent denial of entry into Barbados amounted to a serious breach of her right to free movement under Article 45 of the revised Treaty of Chaguaramas. Myrie also claimed that she was subjected to a cavity search that violated her fundamental rights. The Caribbean Court of Justice presided over the matter and found that Myrie's rights were indeed breached, and Barbados was ordered to compensate Myrie. But there are instances when a country can deny a CARICOM national the right of entry, as Minister of Foreign Affairs Amon Courtney explains.
Where it is in the public interest, public security, public morality, or something like that. That is Article 226 of the treaty. It gives a member state the right to take an action if it feels that it is in the interest of the public, and as defined in Article 226. We have found ourselves, and the Immigration Department monitors countries of interest and the flow of nationals from those countries.
In Belize's case, we have discovered that some CARICOM nationals, particularly from Haiti and Jamaica, have been exploiting the provisions of the treaty, presumably for ulterior reasons. Foreign Minister Courtney says that government has raised the concern with the CARICOM Secretariat.
The issue that arises for us is that when we look at the figures of persons leaving the PJIA or any of the points of exit, we don't see a commensurate number. So if 500 Jamaicans come in and let's say 50 or 100 stay for some reason, we would know that they're applying for work permits, we would know that permanent residence, dependent permits, etc. So we would see that. And then we would look and see, well, how many have left? We don't see that.
Courtney says that immigration statistics have picked up interesting data.
Information is shared with us to show how many of those persons entered Belize a week or two before through the PJIA and have turned up at the southern border of the United States.
The concern is amplified by intelligence gathered on the facilitation of human smuggling activities taking place. Belize has had to introduce a measure against Haitians. They are now required to apply for a visa to enter Belize. And since that measure has been introduced, Courtney says there has not been a single application by a Haitian to enter Belize. The Ministries of Immigration and Tourism are now discussing what measure they will come up with against Jamaicans coming to Belize, and he urges fellow CARICOM nationals to use the treaty within the ambit of the law. Courtney says that meetings would be held with Jamaican authorities as well as with representatives of Copa Airlines to see how the problem can be addressed as it relates to Belize. Reporting for News 5, I'm Marian Ali.
When we return, Laguna Village residents spare for future of communal land.
This May, things are going to be amazing at Benny's. Find great gifts for moms such as Pyrex Bakeware, Chicago Cutlery Knife Sets, Corningware, Snapware, Corel Dinnerware, and much more at amazing prices. Also check out our impressive line of Sankey appliances and other household items. Take advantage of these amazing deals and discounts all May long, only at Benny's. Quality and savings.
Hola usuario de eCash, la aplicación eCash está disponible en español. Cambiar el idioma de tu aplicación de eCash de inglés a español es rápido y sencillo. Déjame mostrarte cómo se hace. Primero, abre tu aplicación eCash. Introduce tu PIN. Toca el icono More en la parte inferior de tu pantalla. Selecciona Security. Selecciona Language. Y luego selecciona Spanish. Vuelve a introducir tu PIN y ya está. Tu aplicación de eCash está ahora en español y puedes seguir disfrutando de tu cartera digital eCash. La aplicación eCash de Belize Bank te hace la vida más fácil.
Smart introduces Real Unlimited Postpaid Plans, providing customers with unlimited talk, unlimited text, and unlimited data. Now that's a real great deal. With Smart Plus, Share 1 and 2, and Enterprise 1 and 2 plans, you can talk as much as you want, text as much as you want, and for the first time ever in Belize, you can enjoy unlimited data with your postpaid plan. So come in and sign up for an unlimited postpaid plan and enjoy limitless possibilities. In addition, other plans such as the Flex Junior, Choice, and Select have been boosted with a lot more talk, text, and data, providing you with the best value for your budget. Be unlimited with Smart. It's time to power your dollar with Smart.
Laguna and Yemery Grove villages are at odds over land. Of recent, tension in the Toledo district has been rising between the neighboring communities. Laguna, a Mayan community, undertook an exercise to survey and demarcate lands that residents say belong to the village. But residents of Yemery Grove, a non-Mayan community, are saying that Laguna residents are now encroaching on their village lands. We have been following the story for some time, and today News 5's Paul Lopez traveled to Laguna Village, where community leaders called a press conference. Here is what he found out.
Laguna Village, a Maya community in Toledo district, was established in the mid-1940s by a handful of families. Today, the population has grown to over 400 residents, and they are embroiled in a land dispute with the neighboring village of Yemery Grove. The villagers of this indigenous community gathered this morning to hold a press briefing with journalists to voice their concerns.
Laguna is a peaceful village and a quiet old village that is a hardworking community. It is a productive community that does farming, hunting, just to name a few activities. Laguna Village, along with both leaders, chairman, and the alcalde, throughout the years, has allowed its residents a fair use of the land. The farming activities has allowed a close relationship with the people to the land.
In Laguna, if a resident desires to own a piece of land, that individual must lodge a request with the alcalde and the village council. The community leaders would call a village meeting periodically to process land applications together. The size and boundaries of the lands distributed to potential landowners are determined during these meetings. Tree limbs or concrete stumps are used to mark the boundaries of each parcel of land. For decades, this has been the established practice for land distribution in this Maya community.
To tell you the truth, this village was a very calm people. We have no bar, nobody drink rum, to make fuss and fight up and kick up. Nobody, because we have the alkali system. If you make a trouble, they have a little cell there, they will lock you up or they tie you out there, make you behave. That's the rule, that was the law, governed by the alcalde, governed by the village council. So those are our traditional way. Well, I'm so sorry. As I mentioned, this village began to expand, populated now, it began to populate, because look at the amount of our students over there. Where are they going? So we keep our boundary intact. We cleaned our lines, we know our boundaries, we know our edges, so we keep it there.
There is presently conflict over what Laguna identifies as its village boundary lines. According to the leaders of the village, residents have long held the view that their traditional borders begin at the Laguna Junction along the Southern Highway. Village leaders have moved ahead to survey and demarcate lands that extend from the center of the village to the highway for future village expansion. They intend to distribute these lands to their children using their traditional land distribution system.
We don't want our youths to be evicted from our lands and try to run to the United States as illegal immigrants. We don't want them to become homeless and idle. We have always been hard-working, productive people on our land. We do not line up in front of the minister's office or house to beg for food.
But the chairman of neighboring Yemery Grove, Harold Usher, says Laguna Village does not have a right to those lands.
As far as I can tell you, for my entire life, there have been no Mayans living around this area. And I have Mayans who grew up, went to school with me and so on. They're my friends. So I have nothing personal against Mayan people. What I'm saying, I would like for the MLA to respect other villages that are not Mayan villages, and we would do the same, right? I have nothing personal. I am saying that Belize is for Belizean.
Tempers are boiling over as Sebastian Itch, the chairman of Laguna, claims that his villagers have faced what he says are human rights violations and criminal threats from Yemery Grove residents. According to Itch, a Maya farmer whom they believed went missing was actually arrested and held inside a cell in Punta Gorda for allegedly illegally entering farmlands that was given to him by the community. Itch further asserts that neighboring villagers have vandalized Laguna property and threatened leaders.
Despite all this, today is the first time we are speaking out publicly about what we have endured. No one in Laguna has confronted or exchanged words with these persons or Yemery Grove Village Council, but we have carefully documented every incident that has been done against us. On this matter, we met once with the leadership of the Ministry of Indigenous Peoples Affairs, and we agreed that a proper process must be in place for this matter to be resolved. As a village, we developed a proposed process, and we have shared this with them. But to date, the government has not gotten back to us. For us in Laguna, this is a big part of the problem. The government of Belize refused to work with us in putting a proper process in place.
Reporting for News 5, I am Paul Lopez.
Harold Usher, the chairman of Yemery Grove Village, told News 5 in an interview several weeks ago that while some people may view his villagers as aggressive, They cannot simply stand by and watch the residents of Laguna continue to occupy lands in the area under dispute. And like those residents in Laguna, Chairman Usher is also calling on the government of Belize to intervene in the matter.
We have a lot of youths, we have a lot of young people, we even have some older folks who doesn't own a piece of land. And my take on it as the chairman of this village, I would like to see each and every Belizean own a piece of land. I would love and I want to see each and every one of my villager who is 18 years and above own a piece of land for themselves. I believe that the only way this would be resolved is for the government to actually step in and for the Ministry of Lands and whosoever should be in charge to do what they're supposed to do. Because for me, I must say that at sometimes some people would think that, you know what, Emery Grove people are aggressive. We're not aggressive. What all we're asking is please step in and do what you people are tasked to do, because the reason is that we can't sit down, we can't stand by and just watch people coming in, cleaning in, putting in pegs, and we just sit back and actually watch it, because then what will happen in the next month or 2 or 3 months, then it will be all gone.
Sebastian Ich, the chairman of Laguna Village, also spoke up against the Minister of Indigenous Peoples Affairs, Dolores Balderramos Garcia. He says that the minister continues to undermine residents of Laguna Village and that she has wrongfully accused villagers of being expansionists. Here's what he had to say about why he thinks her remarks are not helpful to the ongoing situation.
We have reminded the government that we have the CCJ consent order that we must follow in resolving this issue with Emery Grove. Today we say again that Laguna and its leaders are committed to working with the government in resolving this matter. We also want to point out that the government has taken some actions and made remarks that are absolutely not helpful. For example, Minister Dolores Balderramos has labeled us as expansionists. In her recent press conference, she basically said that we want all the lands and everything on it, and that giving out house lots to every villager of Laguna is illegal. A lot of people listen to the minister, and when she makes these misleading and untrue remarks, people act on it. It has caused threat on our villagers.
Up next, Belizean woman in Merida needs hospital financial help to return home.
Taking its name from the venerable father of the nation, the George Price Highway stretches 77 miles from Belize City to Benqueviejo. Originally built in the 1930s, this cross-country highway system is the artery that links Belize to Central America at the western border with Guatemala. That connection facilitates overland trade, supporting Belize's economic development. Winding its way across the scenic countryside, the George Price Highway from Roaring Creek to Esperanza has been fully reconstructed to meet international standards, with particular emphasis on road safety. A shorter and hassle-free commute is best enjoyed when everyone obeys the traffic laws. To reduce the number and frequency of road traffic accidents, it means that a seatbelt must be worn at all times and the speed limit observed when traveling along the highway. It also means that pedestrians must use sidewalks and crosswalks where available. Buses should only board and discharge passengers at a designated bus stop. Road safety is everyone's responsibility. It begins with you.
It's good to keep the environment clean. BSWAMA, step up the pace. They're going places to manage your waste. So make we stand and make well sure. No garbage left on the seashore. The whole of Belize we stay clean, cause we know say worth much more. We have pretty environment. So when you see the garbage on the ground, go after me and just bag it and...
Cleanliness has always been second nature to us. So let's work together to keep our surroundings beautiful and healthy.
No garbage in it.
Sign up
up for Smart Share Plan and save big. Whether you're a small entrepreneur starting up your business, a student on a limited budget, or a family trying to save, this is the plan for you. With unlimited SMS, calls, and data, we help you save. Get up to 5 lines for as low as $30 per line monthly, only with Smart. Sign up today at any Smart showroom or sales manager countrywide. So get your business going, share more memories with friends, and be ready for the day with Smart.
A Belizean woman is indisposed in a Merida hospital bed and is in need of your assistance to clear a huge medical bill in order for her to return home. Kira Leslie has been at Clinica de Merida for the past several days with a rare autoimmune disease that has ballooned her bill to the tens of thousands of dollars. Now her family is appealing to the public for help so they can bring Leslie home as she is now better and on the road to recovery. News 5's Marian Ali reports.
Kira Leslie spent the last few days struggling to breathe with a rare illness that has affected her lungs and left her temporarily unable to move. She was diagnosed 2 years ago with the autoimmune disease and has been coping with its symptoms. But a few days ago, she fell gravely ill and had to be rushed to Merida. Through the assistance of a popular Facebook couple that helps people through the Ladyville Highlights page, Kira has been receiving help. But she needs a lot more money to clear her bill. She spoke from her hospital bed on Tuesday night.
Thanks everybody for they help me. For this time, I ask her, please help me some more because I walk home and I fight hard. Thanks everything you want to do to Mr. Albert, everybody. Thank you very much. And we really need the help.
Since Kira fell ill, the situation has begun to take a toll on her mother, who suffers from hypertension. Sharon Leslie explained that she does not qualify for a loan to help her daughter, so they are depending on Belizeans to help.
Please help me the best on the phone because I can't help myself. I don't got no savings. I don't have a pension. I don't have money. I have to depend on one of the people when they help me, but I can't find it. I don't know. I can't get no loan because I don't have a pension. My health, no, they can't take it because I am a hypertensive patient. And like when I can't eat to time or sleep to time, it affects me because like right now, I don't feel too good.
The family has been able to pay towards the bill, but they still owe the hospital another $30,000. They say that Kira will be able to recover in Belize with therapy and medication. Her mom explained that slowly the monies have been coming in from Belizeans wanting to help.
Yesterday we pay 100,000 pesos and like the bill still at 531,000 pesos. And we can't let fire unless we pay the bill.
Reporting for News 5, I'm Marian Ali.
The Holy Redeemer Credit Union celebrated its 79th anniversary today and did so by launching a brand new children's book written by former Chief Education Officer Dr. Carol Babb. It's the second in a series of publications geared towards teaching financial literacy. News 5's Isani Catano reports.
The book ideally is designed for children, for young people, because I believe, as I mentioned earlier, that if we teach young people, especially during the formative years, good habits, it will not depart from them.
Another installment in a pair of literary works written by Dr. Carol Babb is presently available. The launch of Jacinto Opens an Account at HRCU coincides with the 79th anniversary of Holy Redeemer Credit Union. The series of children's publications draw attention to the importance of financial literacy.
It's been a dream of mine. It first started when I got trained by PricewaterhouseCoopers. And when they mentioned financial literacy to me, I was like, what is that? Now I only know about reading and writing literacy. But when they taught me and other teachers the importance of being financially literate, I saw it as a life skill, and I believe that every child, every person in Belize should have financial literacy skills.
The ability to understand and effectively use various financial skills, including personal financial management, budgeting, and investing, establishes a relationship with money. Financial literacy, however, is a lifelong journey of learning.
And if we truly want to reduce poverty and financial dependence, then we need to teach people to save regularly, to borrow wisely, and pay back promptly.
In October 2021, Dr. Bob, a director at HRCU, introduced Jacinta Learns to Save. That book sets the foundation for financial literacy, allowing an individual to make informed and effective decisions with all of their financial resources.
I can tell you that financial literacy is like on the upswing, if I may use that word. Just recently, I had a dry cleaner company who approached me to do financial literacy for their business. I also had the police department asking me to do it for their women police officers.
Competence in money management spans all ages. In the world of work, adults also stand to benefit from this type of knowledge.
I keep getting calls all over the country, and I think people are realizing the importance of financial literacy. I think after COVID, the effects of COVID has taught us, because we were not financial literacy and we were not saving and we did not have an emergency fund, people suffered. And so we have to be prepared. We shouldn't wait for another COVID or another disaster. We should ensure that our people have the knowledge and skills to be better prepared for whatever may come. The books are available free of cost from Holy Redeemer Credit Union. And so we make it available for our member owners and for others, because Holy Redeemer is committed to teach financial literacy to everyone and anyone who approaches us.
Reporting for News 5, I am Isani Cayetano.
And that's the news. Tonight's broadcast is available at channel5belize.com, on our Facebook and on YouTube. I'm Sabrina Daly. Thanks for joining us, and from all of us here at News 5, good night.